There are five very different wealth levels in early retirements, and most people don't know which one they're actually in. So, in the next few minutes, I want to share with you the five levels, and you can quickly find which one you're in. But I'm going to also show you what it takes to move up to the next level of wealth. Now, as a financial coach, I've worked with people in all different financial circumstances. And while some people think they're further along than they actually are, I've also seen the opposites. I've worked with people that are convinced they need to keep grinding for another 5 or 10 years, and they were actually already sitting on more than enough. So they were leaving years of freedom on the table without even realizing it. So whether you're 10 years out from early retirement or 2 years out, or you're already there and wondering if you're doing this right, this breakdown is for you. So here's how this is going to work. I'm going to walk you through each of the five levels and give you defining characteristics of each one so you can identify with them, and then flag the biggest mistakes that people make at each stage, and then tell you exactly what you can do to move up to the next level. So by the end, you're going to know which level of wealth you're in and your next steps. Hi, I'm Jacob Wade. I'm a financial coach for high income earners that want to retire early. And if you like early retirement videos like this one, hit the like button below for me so it lets me know to make more videos just like this. Now, I do have to tell you that this video is for educational purposes only. This is not financial, tax, or investment advice or an offer to buy or sell any security. It is not personalized to your situation, so make sure you consult a licensed financial professional before investing. All right, level one is what I like to call the exposed. So maybe you've retired early or you're thinking about it, you're getting close, but you don't have really any protection built into your plan at all. So you're drawing down some savings, little to no income diversification, and there's no real buffer if something goes wrong. This is commonly called lean fire, and it's basically the bare minimum amount saved to retire early. Now, here's what makes this level especially dangerous for early retirees specifically. If you're retiring early, you have a 40+ year time horizon, and sequence of returns risk is your biggest enemy here. If the market drops 30% in your first year or two, and you're still pulling money out to live on, the damage can actually be nearly impossible to recover from, even if the market bounces back, because you've already sold some of your portfolio as the market was dropping, and it's harder to recover. Now, there's also a mistake I see constantly at this level: retiring before optimizing things like your Roth conversion window. Those early years before Social Security are actually a golden opportunity to convert your traditional IRA or 401k money to a Roth at a much lower tax rate. But if your plan is too tight and you're just surviving, you're not strategizing. So, quick gut check. If your portfolio dropped 30% tomorrow, could you still adjust without locking in those losses? If the answer is no, or I'm not sure, then you're probably here at level one. So here are 3 action steps you can take to get to level 2. One is potentially just extend your timeline to retirement by even 18 to 24 months and build a 12-month cash buffer outside of your regular investment accounts. And then start creating at least one additional income stream to take the pressure off your portfolio. So the goal at level 1 is just simple. If you're considering early retirement, stop being so exposed. All right, level 2 is what I call the tightrope walker. And this one's kind of tricky because on the surface, it can look like success. You've built a real nest egg. Maybe you're sitting on $1 million or close to it. By most people's standards, it sounds like you're set, but here's the actual problem. At this level, your money can cover your needs, but just barely. And there's no real margin. And basically, when you're walking on a tightrope, the thing that gets you isn't the walk itself, it's the unexpected gust of wind. So, one bad year, or a market downturn, or maybe you have an unfortunate health event or a major home repair, and suddenly in this situation, you're not just stressed, you're actually making permanent decisions under pressure. You're selling your investments at the wrong time, or you're cutting things that you didn't plan to cut. And that's where your early retirement plans quietly unravel. But here's something the numbers alone won't show you. The psychology toll of a bare bones retirement is real. I've seen people at this level who are technically okay on paper, but they're so anxious about every little thing that they can't actually enjoy the freedom they've worked so hard to create. In my opinion, that's not retirement. That's just unpaid stress. So if you're in level 2 and you're walking that tightrope, here's your action step. Sit down and separate every expense into 2 different columns. You got your fixed and your flex expenses. So again, your fixed expenses are your rent or your mortgage, your insurance, your utilities. Flex is everything that you could toggle up or down if you need to. These are flexible expenses. And the bigger your flex column is, the more resilient your plan is. If everything is in your fixed column, That's the problem that you need to solve before you retire because you have no flexibility within these fixed expenses. Now, again, level two is not a bad place to be, but it's not really the finish line either. All right, and if you're enjoying this video, consider hitting that subscribe button below and hitting the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos like this. All right, wealth level three in early retirement is the comfortable coaster. And honestly, this is the one I actually enjoy a bit, though there are some things you need to watch out for. This is also known as coast fire, or you're coasting to financial independence. Basically, you've saved enough that you don't need to be aggressively contributing to your retirement accounts anymore. You may have stepped back from your high stress career, or maybe you're doing some part-time work that you actually enjoy, or you're running a project that you're passionate about. Your investments are growing and life feels lighter, and that's all genuinely great. I love this part about coasting. But here's the risk of coasting. The sense of comfort that you can get can quietly turn into complacency. So I've seen people at this level start to take their eye off some of the financial habits and details they've worked so hard to build over time. The tax planning, the portfolio positioning, the withdrawal strategy, it just kind of goes out the window, and lifestyle inflation can be a real big deal here. So it's important to remember that you're going to have a very long retirement runway and it can't quite run on autopilot. You do need to be involved in the details. There's also a risk that I don't really hear talked about too much at this level, but it's underspending out of fear. Now, people get so conditioned to saving and protecting the number that they forget to actually use it, right? They're clipping coupons in their early 60s when they're healthy and mobile and genuinely in their best years to travel. Maybe they're coasting to get to full retirement age, but they're not going out and experiencing the things they want to experience. They're not being generous. They're not spending the money that they work so hard to save. And then you need to make sure you always account for inflation. Again, over a 40+ year time horizon, even moderate inflation compounding quietly in the background can erode your purchasing power in a way that a 20-year projection just doesn't capture. So you need to make sure you run longer term numbers. So really, here's your action step. Run a 40-year projection, not a 20-year one, when you're looking at your retirement timeline. Now, most online calculators default to shorter time horizons, and that can give you a false sense of security. Now, one tool that I recommend for this, and I'll be transparent, this is an affiliate partner of ours, but it's called Empower Personal Dashboard. Now, their retirement planner lets you actually set your own time horizon for retirement, and you can model different withdrawal scenarios and run what-if scenarios all for free inside the app. And again, I'll put a link below into the description, or you could just scan the QR code on screen right here, and you could sign up for the app completely free and run your own retirement planning scenarios. You can even run multiple scenarios at the same time so you can see which one fits your style better. But either way, when you're planning, make sure you set it to 40 years and see what actually happens. That one exercise alone can be a wake-up call or maybe even just a confidence boost, depending on where you stand. All right, wealth level number 4 is called the strategist, and this is where the game fundamentally changes. At this level, you're fully funded. Your savings and income streams can support your lifestyle, and you have some room for discretionary spending, and an unexpected expense isn't going to send you into panic mode. You've essentially won the accumulation game. You are retired early. But here's a shift that a lot of people miss that you need to pay attention to. Everything you learned about building wealth, save more, invest aggressively, grow the number, that playbook is now largely retired, even if you aren't. The new game is optimization. And the biggest lever at this level isn't how much you have, it's how efficiently you can use it. Now, the two areas where I see the most money left on the table at this new level are the withdrawal strategy and the asset location, not allocation. Location. Now, most people understand asset allocation, right? Your mix of stocks, bonds, and other investments inside your total portfolio. But asset location is different. That's about which investments live in which accounts. So here's a simple example. If you're holding bonds inside your Roth IRA, you're likely making a costly mistake. Your Roth is your most tax-advantaged account. It grows tax-free, and withdrawals are tax-free. That's where you want your highest growth assets, not your most conservative ones. So putting bonds in there is like storing your best wine in the garage. And the second piece here that you need to make sure you're paying attention to in level 4 is building a tax-efficient withdrawal strategy using something called the Roth conversion ladder. Now, those early retirement years before Social Security kicks in are a window where your taxable income is usually relatively low. That's actually the time to convert portions of your traditional IRA or a 401k into a Roth and pay your tax now at a lower rate and set yourself up for tax-free income later. Over a 30 to 40-year retirement, that difference can actually be enormous. So your action step at this level is really to just calculate your tax drag. Add up what you're paying in taxes on your withdrawals and ask whether a different sequencing of accounts could actually reduce that number. Now, if you've never done this exercise, you may be surprised what you find. So again, at level 4, the details are where the real money is saved. By the way, if you're looking for more stock market analysis, WallStreetZen's editor-in-chief Steve Reitmeister does live market analysis every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and you can join him for free. Every week, he walks through not just what he's buying and watching, but exactly how he's finding these opportunities so you can replicate the process yourself. He also shares his handpicked stock of the week, where he combines the power of the Zen ratings model with over 40 years of investing experience to find ideas you won't hear anywhere else. It's called the Wall Street Zen Live Training Session. It's completely free and it's coming Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So you can sign up at wallstreetzen.com/live. There's also a link in the description below, or you can just scan the QR code on the screen right now. All right, level 5 is the legacy builder. And if you're here, first, just take a moment to appreciate that. You've built something genuinely significant. Running out of money is actually not your primary concern once you're at level 5. At this level, the biggest threats to your wealth aren't market crashes or unexpected expenses. There's taxes and there's time. So let's talk about taxes first, because this is where I see the most preventable damage at this specific level. If you've accumulated a significant amount of traditional IRAs or 401ks, we're typically talking north of $1 million, the IRS is eventually going to force your hand through required minimum distributions. Now, RMDs kick in whether you need the income or not, and they can push you into a higher tax bracket. They could trigger Medicare premiums and even create a tax bill your heirs inherit on top of everything else. So this isn't a problem you want to discover at age 73. It's one you want to be actively managing right now. Now, the second challenge here is large amounts of capital gains. So maybe you have an investment property that's appreciated significantly, or maybe you've held employer stock for decades. At some point, you need to think about whether to take some risk off the table and how to go about it without handing a huge chunk of that money to the IRS unnecessarily. And then there's just the tension that I think is the most human part of being at level 5, is figuring out what this wealth is actually for. Do you want to maximize what you leave behind? Do you want to fully spend it and live without restriction in your healthiest years? Most people I work with at this level want some version of both, and those goals require very different strategies. This is worth getting explicit about because vague intentions lead to vague plans. So here's 3 action steps you can take at level 5. First, start long-term tax planning right now. Strategies like Roth conversions and charitable giving vehicles can dramatically reduce your lifetime tax burden if you implement them early enough. And second, get proper estate planning in place. This is non-negotiable. And don't just get a will, but we're talking the full picture, including trusts, beneficiary designations, and how assets transfer efficiently. And then third, and this one is underrated, define your wealth purpose. Like, write it down. Actually, write down whether you want growth or enjoyment or legacy or some combination of all 3, because a plan without a purpose behind it is just a spreadsheet, and you're not going to feel good about executing that plan. So now you just need to make sure every dollar counts. So there it is. That's the 5 levels of early retirement wealth. And wherever you are on that ladder right now, the most important thing isn't the level itself. It's knowing exactly what your next move is, and now you do. So drop your level in the comments below and tell me, what's the one thing standing between you and the next rung? And if you liked this video, be sure to watch my video about the real magic age for retirement. Mine surprised me, and it might be the same for you, so you can check it out right here.